What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining. Hope you're having a great one today. As always, if you can't tell from this, we are looking at the legendary copy ninja Kakashi of the Sharingan. I am super excited about this. I'm a huge Naruto nerd, so I'm very happy to get into him and all of his goodness. Now, obviously, as you can tell, I have already unboxed him. Long story short, that took way longer than I wanted it to. So we're just going to kind of do a pseudo unbox and a little recap action. One of the cool things with Rocket Toys, you get this nice little insert which kind of covers everything that you get there. So for those wondering, there you go. You also do get a pretty cool, kind of classy looking green box that he's in. It's not a really overly decorated box by any means. I honestly like the Itachi and the Madara ones a little bit better, but still pretty cool for the most part. So there were a few things that I kind of ran into issues with this figure, so I ended up taking longer than I wanted to going through all of it. So we're just going to kind of jump right into it, show you some of the things that I was not too thrilled with, and then some of the things that I love as well. So first off, I did get this from Giantoy. They sent them to me super duper quick, which I was very, very appreciative of. They almost always do that. If you haven't ordered from them, I am a huge, huge fan. They do a wonderful job. So really can't say enough about them in that regard. The actual figure, it is made by Rocket Toys. It's the third of the Naruto figures that they've done. They do got 5 more coming, so we're going to get some Sasori action, Tsunade, Hinata, Kasame, and Deidara. So we've got a whole bunch of more ones coming. But Kakashi, they really knocked out of the park. If you are interested, they also have one coming from threezero. The threezero one hasn't been announced yet cost-wise or anything like that, but I know they have shown pictures, so he's probably right around the corner. Will be a little cheaper than this guy. This one was right around $300. I expect the threezeros to be about $100 less than that. So just as an FYI, if you were looking for a Kakashi, threezero might be a little bit more affordable of an option. But Rocket Toys really did an outstanding job with this fella. So the vest is kind of an interesting fabric. Really kind of plush. I don't know what material it's made out of. It feels kind of like the fat suits on like The Mandalorian and stuff like that, where it's just a really nice cushion. It doesn't restrict his movement at all, which is great. I don't think you're going to have any issues with creasing unless you leave him in a very, very odd pose. But for the most part, unit there's like no restriction to his movement whatsoever. Pretty much can do just about whatever you'd want. I still have his feet wrapped up. As you can see, I haven't gotten that far into taking him out yet. Don't really need a close-up. He's got standard ninja footwear, so there's nothing too special. One thing I did want to point out that I loved that they did with this is they actually stitched the bandage into his pant leg. So for some of the other figures that other companies have done, you kind of get these wrappings that sort of slide down the leg. Not going to have to worry about that with my boy here, which definitely made me happy. I was pretty pleased in that regard because I know it's something that I'm not going to have to worry about. Now, as far as his head, you do get 2 different face sculpts and 2 different sets of hair, so you can kind of swap them out as you'd like. This was one of the first issues that I had with the figure, which honestly, I kind of spotted just when looking at the packaging. But that face, while it is cool, and I could be wrong on this. If there's somebody that wants to out-nerd me, I'm happy to admit that I'm incorrect here. But he has 2 Mangekyo Sharingans here, and that doesn't happen until the Great Ninja War. So during the Great Ninja War, he didn't have the Konoha headband. He actually had the little symbol of the 5 nations united. So he should have the different headband there, if he had both Mangekyos anyway. I know, pretty stupid to be upset by, but I do wish that they would have given a different headband just for that reason. It's really a tiny complaint in the grand scheme of things, but meh, I'm a nerd. Also, you can kind of see, and it'll show up a little better in a moment. His nose has the same kind of issue that the Rogue from So-So Toys had, where you get that little kind of shiny spot right on the tip. It is also on that one, and to an extent on the other one as well, but this one it seems the most apparent. It'll stand out quite a bit. His eyes and his scar are supposed to reflect to UV lighting. They do glow a little bit more, if you were wondering, but it also tends to make the tip of his nose a little bit more easier to see that smudge there. So that was a little bit of a bummer. That'll be able to fix with a hairdryer. Like I said, it's kind of the same as the Rogue one. You're just going to have to give a little heat, kind of gently blow back and forth. It should, for the most part, kind of go right back into place. And then you also get the happy face, which initially I left it in the package, but I do want to see how bad his nose is after noticing the other one, so we're going to go ahead and yank this on out real quick. This will eventually be the head sculpt face that I use probably more than the others. Also, if you're wondering, it does swap out by magnet. Conveniently, you don't have to worry about his eyes there, but there you go. And it does look like the tip of his nose is also kind of flattened out a little bit there. So like I said, hairdryer will do the job. It's probably one of the easier ways to fix it. Definitely something to be mindful of. I didn't have that problem with Itachi or Madara, so it does seem to be relatively unique to the Kakashi one. Might have just been the way this particular one was shipped. I'm not 100% certain on that, but a little bit of a bummer. So you do get 2 kunai that come with him, which is awesome. He also has a little pouch, which is magnetically attached, and I will show that in just a moment because I thought it was super cool. Unfortunately, the tape on the kunai here is being difficult. There we go. So the kunai, you get 2 of these fellows. They are metal. They are nice and pointy, but they did a really good job with them. Very, very much straightforward. There's not too much to see here, as they would say, but really just good job on the weathering. Really, really, straightforward, but commendable. I applaud them in that. And then you get this cool little guy, which is the little pouch that he wears on his back. You probably noticed right there, it does have a magnet on it, which makes it very easy to attach to him. Probably should have done this when I had him out the first time, but you just kind of plop it. There you go. Ta-da! So nice and easy. I love that they did that. Very, very easy to set it up. So I was kind of impressed in that regard there. And then you do get one of each of the books that Jiraiya wrote from his breakup trilogy. You can open and thumb through the pages. Sadly, they're blank. I was hoping that there would have been some something in there, maybe just names of the artists that worked on it, some various other little Easter eggs, something cool. Would have been impressed, but, blank pages work. You can fill them out yourself if you don't plan on ever getting rid of it. And you do get a ton of extra hands. We're just going to do a quick look at one. Really, they're pretty well covered so that you're going to be able to do any of his seals, pretty much activate any of the abilities that you want. And then he's also got kind of the basic stuff for holding the kunai, doing punching, basically all of the good normal ninja activities that you'd want for him. Now there are a couple other little accessories, and then we'll go to the big one that came with it. You do get this little handy bag here, which has the bells inside in case you want to do the bell test. And then you get a regular Sharingan eye, and then a standard eye as well. For either of the head sculpts with the movable eyes, you can kind of change those around. And then you get this little guy that'll just kind of help you actually move the eyes once they're in place. They do give you this lovely little grabber tool as well to actually insert and remove. One of the other things that's included in this figure is something that's truly baffled me, and that is this. I don't know what it is. I really have no clue what it came with. My assumption is it's some sort of preservative, maybe, that you should apply to his costume, is kind of what I think. I would not recommend doing that without finding out what it actually is. I'm going to do a whole bunch of Googling to see if I can figure it out. If anyone's able to actually read that, by all means, I'll happily take a translation. And there's no real indication of what it's for or instructions inside the box for it. It's just sort of taped in there. So that was a fun little surprise. You know, I guess there's that. So that's cool. The base that he comes with is pretty standard, but much like the other ones that Rocket Toys have done, just a really clean, classy look. I absolutely love these. I think it's, kind of the ideal base if you're not doing something decorative, just something nice and straightforward that looks pretty. And they did it with this. I also love the color, which is just kind of a random tangent, but there you have it. So the other final thing I want to go over with this guy is the biggest surprise and also the biggest disappointment all rolled into one. So I knew that he came with a chakra effect for doing the Chidori. I did not know that it was light up. So it does come with batteries, which is awesome. And essentially what you're supposed to do is insert the batteries into this little fella. I've only got one in there at the moment because I slid the other one out. And then you take this little fella and you put it into this little plastic casey thing here. And then you take this little plastic casey thing and you put that. That goes inside of this massive thing. This is awesome. It is gorgeous. I had no idea it was going to be anywhere near this ginormous. Just really had no clue it was going to be this size. I think that's pretty close to how it snaps into place. Really was shocked by that. It is a super cool effect. I couldn't get the light to work. So once you have the light in there, you get this little magnetic post thingy, which I will, let me just slide these over here for now. Ta-da! And this is basically supposed to wave around the ball of the lightning effect to trigger the light. And it's got like 3 different settings, a standard, a flashing, and off. I've been able to get it to flicker by wiggling the battery a little bit, but I have not been able to get it to do anything beyond that. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to keep playing with it, but I'm just going to pretend that there is no light. Some of you would be sad by that. I didn't know it was supposed to light up, so it's really kind of a not too big of a loss in my mind. I still think it's a super cool effect, so whatever, not the end of the world. But definitely a bit of a bummer. So overall for me, as a whole, I love the guy. Absolutely love Kakashi, so it's an easy win in my book. Definitely have some downsides. I've got to fix a couple noses, or I guess a triple noses, whatever that would be. Got some nose work to do, but we'll get those patched up. And then looking forward to, honestly, everything else Rocket Toys comes from, because so far they've been crushing it. That'll do it for this one. It's much shorter than the original version, so I'm happy with that. I think the Clone Wars Ahsoka should be coming my way soon, so hopefully we'll have that in the next couple of days. And then there's usually plenty of other stuff on the way. So thanks all. We'll see you next time.